Famulem, una welcome on board the Telly2Rachel talk show on the program Women and Politics. If you're just joining in, please share the video. Please tag your friends and family and Sierra Leoneans. Make we all can learn from the topic we talk about today. I want to welcome una all. As always, I am your host, Rachel Bangura Davis, and I want to make una know say this program. It's been aired live on Star TV Sierra Leone. I want to say thank you to Star for giving, Salon people and the opportunity for making them listen to my program all the time. Welcome again, everybody. I want to welcome on all. And today we get big issue we can talk about. And Nativo done the year for the past 60 years. We done the year corruption. So today I get, guess them where we can look at, the report card of corruption of this government and see from the pattern or the trend, how the anti-corruption don't work. And as the topic say, is the anti-corruption a political witch hunt? Well, we go can understand today, waiting we guess and therefore tell we. And on ourselves in the comment section, keep the conversation going. Make una comment, have your say on this program. This program is for everyone, every Sierra Leoneans will mean well for Sierra Leone. So una stay tuned. I'm coming right back to introduce my guest.
Sugar sweet taste, it's honest, yeah. Sugar sweet taste.
All right, yes, sugar
and sweetest.
You cutest couple. They come up with a new television love show.
Your heartbeat show, full of fighting.
Sweetest.
Waiting.
You love me?
I miss you. I don't care what you know, man, and I do about.
Gold digger prank.
Really?
Sorry about that.
Hey. But you just tell me saying it academy.
Yeah, I do that because, a lot of salon girls, they collect that kind life, So, that's why I tell you that. At least I know say if I tell you saying I'm in Canada, you will be okay with that.
Love and heartbreak.
Babe, my phobia. Don't you end of your life, please. What a good guy they did.
Babe, I love him so much.
I know, I understand. Phobia, be okay, yeah?
Love and sacrifice.
Friend finder.
Hook me up with a loved one.
Your childhood days.
And more on YouTube. So search for
Sugar and sweetest.
And then
Subscribe.
It's honest, yeah. Sugar and sweet taste.
Thank you very much, Famulem. This guest then for today. Of course, I get Ibrahim Sori Koma. We always, dynamic program and they talk about plenty things them ways salon people they need for know and understand what's going on in the country. Ibrahim Sori Koma is a lawyer and a public policy specialist. Welcome, Ibrahim, to the Telly2Rachel talk show.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Good afternoon from my end. Good afternoon to listeners.
Okay. Let me unmute. Can you unmute, Imran? Imran, can you unmute, please? Thank you. All right. I also get a second guest where, of course, now man they always see in social media, in Imran T, and in a political analyst. You know how to break everything down for make the lay person understand what's in the go on at the country. Imran, welcome to the Telly2Rachel show and say hello to family.
Thank you very much, darling. My family in Akabo Unakushe. I'm really delighted for this fabulous platform, and I hope una go take part with we as we ride along.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. Famulem, if you're just joining in, please share the video, tag your friend, because this topic is on the screen right now, where they can deal with as a true Sierra Leonean, because before I go to me guess them proper, I want for make we all members say when His Excellency the President will come as President na Salone, it been promissory, strongly promissory say it can for fight corruption and it can for accountability and transparency. And some of you been very happy because we know waiting corruption mean to Salone. We know how far we don't come out with corruption and will lead to how we country they so delicate today. But we guess them, we can't really tell we first of all how corruption they make country go backward. How corruption, the importance of waiting with the talk most today when a corruption. Make us start with you, IS. Before we go inside the topic, I want to let people and get just an overview of the very importance of corruption and why we for talk about them.
Again, thank you very much. I think say the barest minimum, Sierra Leoneans them know waiting at corruption. Now, waiting make us say so. Every day, it's on radio, there must be a news item where they're directed for talk about some aspect of corruption, if not the entire program. How people then they take from government money, public money, and spend unto themselves. How then they cut corners for use government money, not for the right purpose, but something where they benefit them. How then they undermine government programs or public programs for their own or their family or friends them benefits. So corruption basically encompasses all that in the way people them were exposed to power, public money, public facilities, and public influence, and use them position where they can occupy, not for the purpose where they put them there for, but most times not for purpose where they either they benefit them directly or benefit somebody who related to them. So corruption, which is the one they do therefore, it they make sure say the people they will forget the benefits. One, not get them. So for example, if not something for address education, the people that wait for access the education, then they access the education. If not healthcare, the people that wait for access that healthcare, then they're able to access the quality of healthcare. If not other public service, they go get them. And then they go do, it cause people them for die. It cause people them for lost the opportunity for education. It damage people in future. It damage the peace of the country. Because when people are unemployed, for example, they don't get jobs, they're not educated, and then they see few people in our society. Then they lavish wealth, then they live in glamour and excessive wealth, just because then they're in a position of trust or exposure to state resources. That one day that it can cause violence. If they find out saying that the country, people then they complain, reports then they're all over the place, that they attack people here, they attack members of parliament here, they attack people go broke, people owes, and then continue because people are frustrated. Because if you get somebody where employed, you get education, believe you me, what they do, they get them busy, they get them focused on growth, self-growth in family, rather than begin to look at other person in the MVM. So in totality, whereas people like you always say the corruption, it just affect individuals, it impact the society greater than it actually affects individuals. So they bring the country down.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. That analysis. It is very important. Some people know the damage where corruption don't cause now we country, especially now where we can talk about this current government and there's so many corruption cases that we'll get for address some. We're not able to address all because them plenty, but we address the key one them, and from that we're able to make an analysis to the general public whether or not the ACC is a political witch hunt. Imran, like I just said before, His Excellency the President, we say promise strongly silent and say income for fight corruption, transparency, accountability. And we know say what it can. The first thing we then try for set up now the COI, one of the Commission of Inquiry. We are in a lot of past, government ministers or officials then been found wanting. But as a Sierra Leonean, do you feel the COI was very transparent?
Well, okay. Before I start, I go beg your pardon. I be just one for layer with me brother talk earlier. You see, abuse of entrusted power for private gain, not corruption. For we people and within our house, quite a lot of people and then feel to say when they say corruption are just for thief money. Corruption come in many ways. When they say entrusted power, I go give example because corruption they happen at the home. Where a husband give a wife money, chop money, the woman before you go buy the things that what they need for the everyday activity in our house, he broke balance. He cut pana money they go make a year. He cut pana money they go do so half 15. Or husband where they pay him, you know they make a wife no almost then pay him. If he keeps on at the side for girlfriend, then he balance on money for go drink na bar. So you know they come clear, you know they come straight with your family. So now the same thing, we all know go na parliament. In politics, in the democracy, then divide the country into constituencies. Because not to everybody go able to go na parliament, will not go do inside there. So each constituency, then they pick one person. That one person, they now they put on a trust for go represent una. When he go there, not to your own interest he go there for. He go there for go represent una vested interest. But when you go there, if the interest where you go there for, not so for the one where they send you there, anything they give you, you broke balance. When they tell you say for go make dig latrine, you build 2, you left you use the money for the balance 3. You know, so basically then they should change the people them that they make people know they get the resources then when they forget. If money for come for build hospital.
But I just want to cut you under. We at some point we get the former chief minister. What they say? I mean, if you get government entrust certain money that you earn for do something, and if at least if you do 90%, let people see the balance you can keep in your pocket. But before you continue with that, and I want to make also una two address that side. Is it? I mean. Now best practice than it because you they talk say
bad practice. That is not acceptable.
Let me just tell make the family then see waiting exactly at the time.
This is a new direction, new generation, new government. Rather they talk about delivery. So we got to make sure we start with this road here for 2 and 4. And we therefore work with people that wouldn't get interest for transform Lagos. For the first time when we do road, please make sure if they give 100 million euros, if it's possible, use 99% of that for the road. Many people then say you don't do the road. That 1% you put on a pocket, not a bad thing.
This now from a government official say if they give 100 million leons for do road. For example, you for use 99% and the 1% if you put on your pocket, not a bad thing. So I want for ask una, not a bad thing. At least the people that see the road, not a bad thing. Imram, then I will come to ISLA if Robert quick by the side. But you still not answer me question for the COI. But let's go to this first.
My dear, that is bad practice. The man from waiting is say it aid and abate corruption, and the man itself in waiting is stand for corrupt, because you see in a democracy people then get for be voted in. He himself is a Kwango. That means to say he's an unelected person. Then give him a trusted position. You know, to be honest, I don't question this. Why should the head of state come? He pick a whole group of people them. Make them cabinet minister, where the people are not get any say in that appointment day. I think it is wrong. It is not acceptable. They make most of them guy there. They're not answerable to the electorate. Rather, they are answerable to the head of state, where given the position. If I be the person where get in that position there, I go sack him straight away. It not meet criteria. It not meet purpose. It not show. You know, the ethical kind of standard where you go expect of anybody for whole short a role. But the thing where bad pass the corruption say for the talk, but now the fact say the man wait him up there. But Sierra Leone they not be ever sabia. They don't know this man. They don't know how he come out. He just come and bring a cam. It's like when they can bring goat cam na abitua for can kill him. You know, the man is not a politician. He does not know anything about the social issues in the country. You know, then it him up before the people them. They tell them how them for encourage bad practice. Una talk for say una flagship na for can stop corruption. Then you, when are one of the people and when are the cabinet, in fact, you na chief minister, now you they in charge for supervise other minister them. Now you give them the green light, say, do small thing, then you thief some. Keep the balance for yourself. That is wrong. That is not acceptable.
All right, I
I will
want
condemn
to
him according all totality.
yeah, I want to make lawyer Ibrahim say for God more this small because these salon people and they watch. Now we know if it's the right way to go, and this is a minister that now been chief minister at that point in time. Is it right for make such a statement or waiting that kind of statement they tell we as salon people if we save one for go inside politics? Lawyer Ibrahim.
So for me now, two things. One, if you look at the context and the timing of the statements, and secondly, what was the intention and how the government, SLPP government, don't carry on the administration of the state since then. So the first aspect, the timing, this was few months after they take over power. And secondly, this was the chief minister, the head of the cabinet ministers of the country. At the time where all the ideas wouldn't be get about fighting corruption be fresh. At the time where everybody they look for a radical change of behavior and pattern from the civil service and public officers. Now, this was the chief minister speaking about and promoting corruption. So me, whereas Mr. Toure, they say they aid and abet, me not go that extent because I don't think say the offense was being committed. But it a promoter, where mean say if you give you contracts, you are permitted to take part of that money and use it for yourself. Now that's essentially the talk. So what now they mean? He undermined the messaging where they bring come as a crusaders of corruption. And secondly, he also shows say at the material time they come, it was the fight against corruption was lip service, and so therefore nothing no be there for trust about that. So on the second aspect, I say how the government don't carry on.
The president be seem very genuine at that time where he said they can't fight corruption.
So that's what I'm saying. So I lay the foundation. I say contextually, this man will be the head of the cabinet ministers, and this thing happened at the just few months after they take power. So you know, don't forget the messaging. You know, don't forget what exactly they been come for. You know, don't forget what the president tell them for do. And besides, this was a man, well, and say be the lecturer at university, at Bradford University in the UK. So not to that kind of person where they say within the twinkle of an eye, you don't forget exactly what they come for, waiting at the messaging. So now you make us say that lip service because it was not intended to be done. It was intended to get people to believe what they were saying. So in the second aspect, after they don't talk, he talked that statement, how far government don't go with the fight against corruption. Now the second aspect of what he talked this now. So if you look at my own position will be basically directed at the Auditor General's report. The Auditor General's report don't show say the lip service what they refer to. Say the government been bringing for fight corruption as crusaders of corruption. It don't manifest in what they don't do so far in the last 4 years because I'm validated by the Auditor General's report. The last report, even though it gets all this drama and accusations of deleting and covering up certain things, it still come out say that the worst reports since Salon become independent. So the report said 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019 combined. This report, in the money where I lost, where I thief, it occupies all the other previous years. So what does they show you? It show you say the corruption that escalates, and the messaging of that particular place, it really resonates with the officers they appoint for run government.
All right, well, Famule wanna continue for share the video and tag people that made them safe come benefit from this tier all important thing we talk about when a corruption we don't make we country don't day like I did so delicate today. But I want to go to make you just clear we up on the commission of inquiry where the government or the commission of inquiry been found officials them of the past governments, most of them wanting. Was it transparent, and how you feel, or how you been feel as Sierra Leoneans where they see them found wanting of former ministers and all government officials, what we see them say they all them being for corruption? Was it a good feeling at that time? The commission of inquiry been calm, some of we glad, it's I mean, because for the first time we see where they actually found people they wanting. But how we say feel as Salon person, when you see all of that happen, and how transparent all of that will be?
So I get for state the facts as they were. And so the commission of inquiry starts with plenty trouble. So, and I was part of it, and I have to say that. What do I mean by that? When presidents say if we institute commission of inquiry after they develop what they call a government transition report, will also be headed by Dr. David Francis, where now the policy will be the talk of that 1%. They recommend say governments for immediately set up commissions of inquiry for look into the last administration, how they run the state. And so me been get some clients and together with other lawyers them. And so we argument was that one, the way they want to set up, not also the law say. And so, but they're not listening, basically. Then just basically the government will just do what they feel say correct. What they want for do, what easy for do. So they go ahead and set them up. So now, when they set them up, the findings of the commissioners them come out. And people then get to understand that the people that when then commissioners and they investigate, now people them way not they deal with money at all, but then they provide political leadership for the ministries. Because now only people that we don't serve as president, vice president, ministers, or heads of the different institutions. So when we say if you know how government they run, these are not people who directly deal with money. But there's the commissioner and find out say money them where they're not either not spend them properly or not account for them properly, or now money them where somehow they're able to provide the appropriate explanation for the commissioners them. It come under their own political leadership. So therefore, they apportion blame to them people in need. I hope people understand that one day as well. So having said that, the general feeling of the people in Salone regarding commission of inquiry was that na good thing, and it bring down political accountability, and it reduce corruption, and a one way where they make even the existing or the sitting government, they sit up properly and fight the corruption, not just against the opposition, but against their own officers themselves, because one day they go commodity. That was the expectation of most Sierra Leoneans, and some of we, now that reason they make, we've been take part and represent people like the commission. So, whereas we can all say it was a good idea, but what did not come out from the commission of inquiry, it hold people them responsible, where some of them people and they own up, say, okay, yes, I've been there, I've been provide political leadership, and even though not to me with the sign, so some of them take responsibility, some of them not take responsibility, then continue for appeal. For man winning appeal, they let them off. Some man don't get in house, even though it continue for challenge the procedure, it continue for challenge the outcome. it don't get in property confiscated by the state. So all of those. So for me as an individual, I think say political accountability is a very good thing for the country, and it make politicians them no say if you get access to power, it not mean say you get the right for use state resources for your personal benefit or people the way they are around you. However, as I said just now, the fight against corruption gets so many challenges, and we don't see say na something na problem than the way as a country we get for faith.
All right, well, Imran, I think say you will get some obstruction where you get for go and coming again.
Yeah.
And lawyer Ibrahim don't talk about the commission of inquiry because INSEF been the part of INSEF been put interest the way INSEF been glad for as Sierra Leonean first for see they're able for found people they're wanting. So that they show you say that's been tell we say if you cannot government, you hold government position or you minister or whatever, at the end of the day you get for be accountable. But looking at the situation now where they go on at the country, this kind scene where this kind of commission where the anti-corruption and the government is set up where we all glad for, you know, is it applicable to waiting that happen now as a country? Because there's so many corrupt cases then and corruption where they go on where we don't hear and the Africanists don't pull numbers or plenty of those things where it don't expose. But is it the same way where it applicable to the people what the opposition they would have been found wanting? Is it applicable now to the government officials then where we the corruption case is over?
Media, this corruption business here is wrong from the start. I'm glad where I get me brother Naya when a legal luminary. Outside and begin getting wrong, and from the transition report, the language was brutal, it was insightful, because when they write a report, it get for be balanced. This man, a professor, he writes a report calling people and saying racketeers them. He not talk for say allege. So they make the people them gladly. Say they don't catch thief man them. Where actually some of them people there, where now be the real thief man them, they were left out. So be the civil servant them. Not so even the cabinet minister them. Because the thing is, we all want corruption for get rid of. Though even in society the whole day now, you cannot rid of corruption 100%. But you go reduce them to the bare minimum. But how you go do them? First, the people can get for trust you. And in we own situation, they miss one very vital point. This is not to be a popular government. The government only win election by 2%, probably under 2%. So they're not be getting mandates for take shot a very big challenge. Where then you come there, the very first thing what you do, you not bring something complimentary. Because if I was the presidency advisor, where he come in, the very first thing where for we don't start, especially where he look at the way he win the election. Now for try for win hearts and minds, souls, for support a program. As a council, you know if team up fine. The way he do the inauguration, he disrespects the person where he meet there, when I'm supposed to don't lead them. He can't do the transition reports, call them thief man them, a yampi and all that kind of thing. But this is not allegation. It's not been proven. Then they don't go now. Quite a lot of them people there, they don't find them wanting. Some of the people them where they meet already being investigated by the previous government, like Chief Kapua, the man where now the #1 champion for the Ebola money. He was there under suspension. Lawyer, tell me if I'm wrong. The man there under suspension, as they take power, so now they give him a role, neglecting the suspension where the man they pan, and the man the whole purpose where they pan suspension now for corruption. then draft them straight into the State House for go work day. Then you go find out for say the 10 where they find Chief Minister wanting. Guess who that pulled that Katade na aid? Now Mohamed Kane. At that time, Mohamed Kane na him na be the financial investigation director. The director for the financial investigation unit. Now State House. Now him cover up for him. In connivance with the ACC boss.
So it would be expect what do we expect at that point in time where they found the chief minister then wanting, or where it was accused, because accused. Yes. So the anti-corruption commissioner Ben Kelfala was expected, as he do, like I say, as then do na the commission of inquiry, he would have found other people they wanting for making them do so. Why you think they're not be able to take certain action like that?
But to start with, the financial investigation unit director, when I'm the present boss for the electoral commission, said the man not take nothing. They don't investigate, they don't do nothing, and just dally the team. And now info don't give the green light to ACC. So between ACC and the financial investigation unit director, then deliberately collude for hush the issue. So today will not know what happened because then cover them up. Today will not know what happened. The case just died. And if you notice, all the areas them where don't come out against this present government, like the report where Cherno, when the Africanist press they bring out, they give receipts, they give checks. These are all serious evidences. They don't take them seriously. They not act upon their whistleblowers. Then they don't do nothing about it. But yet, we they see a man, when are the present man, where Samura Kamara, to be precise, where very popular, where then they hope say now he might be the flag bearer for APC. The commission of inquiry not find out one thing. They not see nothing there. They not do nothing there. Now they come out with something, say he transfer money, he not tell the boss. Transferring money, you not tell boss, not constitute thievery. But they can't go to court for that. But we get quite a lot of people like Kapua, where we get allegations, serious allegations them about the Ebola money. Ebola money where they kill people and go to court. This man here is directly involved with that. He work with an State House. Now from there he come out and go crown and make him paramount chief. For me, I find that very hard for believe. A government will come in power, we say the flagship policy now for can eradicate corruption. Then you meet somebody when they investigate for corruption. You squash that investigation there without question. You give them big position now State House. What does that say to you? For me, I know I'm beginning to talk self, but Africanist oppressed. For me, now that's not in just puts me off when I know say them people are not come for do anything good. And in fact, I go put onto you, media sisters, say the ACC, they don't weaponize them. Now in they use now for bully anybody when they find out for saying that the president's opponent.
All right, I see.
So
I see.
Clear witch hunt.
All right. When I see ISF, you know, what they talk about, you know, the way they talk about the ACC in whole, you know, as supposed being weaponized, where the ACC were not in for help, for make we recover, or for make we all people accountable. It's been, you know, used as a weapon of a witch hunt, like you said, Imran. What do you think, say, so far, having looked at, you know, from the corruption accusation from the First Lady, from the bags of rice were missing, and from so many other things, from the chief minister where Imam just talks to, and all other things that will probably Yusuf get for mention. How you think say the anti-corruption and play into these things, and what you said we expect for make the anti-corruption do?
Okay, well, thank you so much. I think say in that particular question, you don't raise so many things then, and so many other issues then they will fall within. And I think say this discussion will cover all of that. But since you go specific, I go address the specific issues that we do. You talk about the rest issue. The rest issues sure say the Anti-Corruption Commission not affect corruption. And the simple past somebody want make hypocrisy. The rest issue sure say the anti-corruption issue not affect corruption. It affects opposition. What do you make us say so? The Anti-Corruption Commission put out statements and make public statements on television addressing the nation. Say one, they don't arrest people where they catch you some of the rest. They don't arrest somebody where been in charge. They don't charge them in court. Then get the file. Everything is ready. They went to court and then withdraw the case. We don't know what will not happen. The explanation giving, nobody not trust them. All right. Then you talk about the first lady. The first lady issue, me don't talk extensively about that. I don't write papers where they don't publish internationally. And I think say it also shows say the Anti-Corruption Commission not affect corruption. It affects opposition. What do I mean by that? Because
exactly, because I just want to ask you, what do you mean by that? Say they need affect
the deliberately
corruption now, then
try
opposition. Yeah.
Yeah, because in the case of the first lady, what they try for do now for use the law for justify say the first lady gets rights for spend public money I want her. But when they know say that particular statement they would make is a false statement. But however, they still put her in writing and put them out there. And I write extensively about that day and the papers were all over the place. But thirdly, you also mentioned Africanist press, then publication. There is no evidence where we don't see in the fight against corruption from outside government, where authentic, where carry weight, where show proof of wrongdoing. To my knowledge, and perhaps I challenge every other Sierra Leonean, for sure, anything way stronger than what the Africanist press don't publish. Again, I ask, what do I mean by that? Africanist press go into government accounts. The access is over there. There are people don't know that. They access government accounts. Then see, Uda they take money there. Then look at the process. Uda get right for taking the money. Uda not get right for taking the money. Then look at how money they move from one point to the other. No evidence, not the way strong past that one day. Where we don't see as Sierra Leoneans. And I challenge anybody that show me any other evidence way stronger. And Mr. Ture said the SEC not care about that day. Why? Because the thing related to people away, either now President Bio in family or now appointees of President Bio. So therefore, it is not of interest to the Anti-Corruption Commission. I feel sad for saying that one day. Because I know some of the guys there where they run the Anti-Corruption Commission, and the commissioner is a very good friend of mine. Very, very good friend of mine. Me get my own personal reservations, and I think say over the years, I mean, we don't discuss about that. But on a broader perspective, I think say the particular fight against corruption what they talk about, now in the greatest disappointment of President Bio.
But
you know, with due respect to everybody where they serve under the Anti-Corruption Commission, itself a very hard thing for feds. It's very difficult. Then they do their best, but this their best is not good enough. I think the challenges we will get under this administration, insofar as the reports there, we don't come on, from the audit service, Africanist press, and other sources don't show, this threat is bigger than the present Anti-Corruption Commission.
So you talk about legal possibility.
Get for call and that way. If we not call and that way, we go hold people that are responsible for doing nothing. Or we go point finger from people them we not get nothing for point fingers. The overall problem what we get at the commission, now that this present commission the Anti-Corruption Commission, not get capacity. One, for handle and investigate the volume of cases we don't reveal corruption. And secondly,
the volume of cases then where they happen right now in this current government.
They not get capacity for handle. And I think say the commissioner
capacity.
The commissioner don't go public. He don't go public and talk about incapacity for do what is
part of the incapacity, if I can.
But let's just finish this one before Mr. Emre.
Incompetency.
The second thing why they talk, the volume of corruption we involved. The magnitude is so high that we not ever see them before. And I think say some of the publications the way Africanist press don't show, they don't categorically make those statements that based on the evidence they don't get so far. The involvement of government officials in corruption, it not ever exists in independent. And the money we involved, we not ever see them. And the last audit service report also shows say this last one no more. If you put 2017, 2018, 2019 combined, this last one, it passed the all. So this go for support. Sometimes never talk say capacity no dey for make this ACC take on corruption. So it has to be a national effort. A national effort.
But
so maybe we go for empower the ACC more. We go for change the operation.
I don't.
But they get capacity for handle the COI when we get for deal with more of the past officials than government official of the past government.
I tell you say
brother.
You
I tell you say this Anti-Corruption Commission not affects corruption. That is where I started. And I know I let you take that out of context in what at the talk. What at the talk together with what I don't say in the same bulk. And the same ballpark. Okay?
Right.
So waiting at the time for talking like that. Because of this volume, in my own estimation, and the way I don't review what in the Anti-Corruption Commission they do, because of the volume and the quantum of things that were involved, then they select what they take. And in this context, it appear, and I think it's not only one don't talk about, it appear like they select only thing the way they were concerned members of the opposition. Then they get involved with things that way get direct link with the government officials, government of President Bio, the family of President Bio. They take them on the
okay. No, hold on the small force because we therefore can go deeper inside it. I see yourself the shake you.
Yeah, I know. In as much as we agree with me, brother, partly, but it left the real issue. The issue, Naya, it is fundamental and basic. The man is not suited to this role. He not qualified. I don't mean to say he not gets the academic qualification. One, he not get the experience. Two, when you look at the way with this man green, that role they supposed to get a huge level of neutrality. But the man be the campaign publicly with a renaissance. Now SLPP. Pick and through. It's no secret. The man in interest is not about the country. The man in interest is about the SLPP. And that's where the problem is. Yes, you will talk for, say, logistically and the struggle and the this and the that. But when you're not a good manager with experience in management, I don't think this guy ever held any management position to start with. When you do management, one thing was very important for management, now for prioritize. You get for prioritize the things that what you get in front of you. But unfortunately, the man in question, no, they do that. his interest is about the opposition. Explain to me how this man, after then him about how the president he will get access to the country, he coffers, he spend money 50 fata. When I ask that question, it's tell for say well, you're not a lawyer, then bring case come to you for let you prosecute. Then you come out, you talk, say, then get for go investigate all the thief money where we don't thief previously. For make you go ascertain how you go can investigate the person who thief today. I don't think that was correct. Because at that point, the person in question was the first lady. She has taken money where you're not supposed to get access to. If we need for give explanation, he left that. But my brother, that would be candid and honest with we what thing happen? Now Grumpig, then go call for can search pocket arata. You know say for thief banga, nobody know the thief banga pass Grumpig. Then a Grumpig you can put now say they can search pocket for see whether arata thief banga. Come on, the reality is an officer and logistical. This is basic fundamental principle. You are there to investigate people where get a question in their behavior as in corruption. This woman, they say he don't put on money where hand for deeper. The question is how he get the access.
But if he talks to government, say they get money anyway. If
exactly.
He okay,
So,
can
I come in?
Now he say, well, they forgot go check first the previous first lady how he they get money. That is not the question. The question was, it take money we enough for take. And let we not pretend about this. Now, these are the problem we I get with my country at the moment. When they see things, we look at them, we not say a mango, but they call her orange. Me go put them to my brother. Yes, now you colleague. We now turn a lawyer. But you look me at me, I tell me if that man they get a directorship experience. He's qualified as a lawyer. But I don't think he has the professional ability, capacity, aptitude for hold that role. That role they need a very experienced person, not just with qualification, but as in managerial capacity. I don't think he has that. And secondly, the bias Panam disqualify him because the man, me know, everybody in the country know say the man is 1000% SLPP. So I know they pan the ball. They pan the opposition because he want help for bring them come back to power, even though they have not fulfilled, they have not delivered. If me a teacher, I mark the results, now F9, they fail completely. And then get the guts, they want to come back to we, for that we put them back again for another 5 years. And what's in a can follow a role, now for try for disqualify all the people them will get the credential for beat SLPP in the ballot box. So that's why I agree with the lawyer. Say
all right, now that
ACC day for fetch the opposition, not to corruption. And instead
let me just
the biggest corruption as Sierra Leone.
Okay, now that you don't touch on that point today, I want to play a video, but let me just touch on that point today.
First. Before you play the video, I get to make this clarification.
Okay.
I mean, and I think say it's very important for make we understand context. I continue for talk that one day over and over and over. Now, I say what I said previously and what I say now, the same ballpark. All right? And there is no way I say I defend what the commissioner don't do. My statement is unequivocal, clear, and I think I set out what me believe, and I make reference to what I don't put out. Mr. Imran can go and Google me and see what I don't write about the ACC regarding the way that they conduct the activities. It's everywhere. All right? So I not come here for talk say the ACC they do well. No. I not even mention say na logistical challenge them. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I say they not get capacity. And what they involve na a lot of things, including what you talk. So and beyond even expansive past what you talk. But so now the same message we talk, would they give out, but would they talk and differently? All right. So
yes, for clarity's sake. So I want to make una listen. I want to make una listen to this. Then IS, you can take them from there. Then Imran go up much this small because I want to move on to some another very important issue. But let's take a listen because now una don't clearly say the ACC is after the opposition, or it's after the people them where they feel threatened that the opposition rather than the real-time corruption where they go on at the country now for making them go address. But let's take a listen to this, then we can prove that.
We wasted $68 million to bribe people who were hoarding loans to bring it into the banking system. And we spent $68.5 million that did a lot of good in this country, stabilized it, so that in this country now, you have rice. You go to Liberia, even to find rice, you can't. The point here then is, I ask myself, we have worked so hard during the past 2 years to build reserves for this country.
Let me just cut it right there. We don't get the message. Where the statements by the bank governor, where it will make, where every head and people and begin for ask like, what is going on? Where it categorically say they wasted $68 million for bribery. What do you think at that moment when you have this and we have if we really get a serious anti-corruption commission, ACC, Ibrahim?
So there are two things in that particular video, but now only one thing people they focus on. There is an admission of wrongdoing, but there is also a statement of positive action by the government, by the governor of the Bank of Sierra Leone. He said they waste, specifically, waste 68 million for bribe. That is an admission of wrongdoing. The commission for at least don't investigate that particular aspect. The second aspect, he said, they use 65 million for stabilize the economy. So these are two sums. But in all the statement, the video interviews, what we don't listen, now only on part one, now the people they focus on. The one where they talk, where he talk say, they spend 68 million for bribe. So what did happen with the 65 million where they use for stabilize? What did they do with that? So those two amounts is $133 million, I think, involved.
So you've been thinking, as a Sierra Leonean, and even
let's just finish this one.
You've been thinking the ACC forbidden call for investigation.
Yes. This is not a matter of what you think. A lot of Sierra Leoneans, them, including national people that were in the country and outside the country, been called on the Anti-Corruption Commission for looking to the aspect of those admissions on those the other statements. At least for look at how the bank bribed, wasted 68 million and put out a statement. And secondly, how they use 65 million for stabilize the economy, where the economy really so challenged. So those two aspects were good grounds for the Anti-Corruption Commission for them to look into and come out with a statement. Interview people where concerned, investigate the particular issue dispassionately. But the other one, so people then just left and talk about it on social media and the radio and TV, one or two term. And in fact, we understand, say people then go out in defense of the governor. There was no action from the government. So the expectation were reasonable people. And people that were really focused on policy and national development we get. Now that at least the executive, the president, they take some action. If me now an employer of somebody where go admit say waste state funds or waste company funds, what you go do? An investigator. And they pull them out an investigator.
Pull them
If if not flippant, I go say this man I just talk free talk. But
in
for saying and so, investigator, it shows say the government now they feel accountable to people. You not think therefore deal with issues that people get interested. Then they only deal with things that where they're interested in. And that is the unfortunate thing. And I feel sorry about saying this as a Sierra Leonean. But it don't make the country look like some sets of people are protected and the others are vulnerable. And when
that brings me to my question where I will ask you and I will ask Imran too. That brings me to my question where I will ask you and ask Imran also for comment. You said one word now also say the anti-corruption not they act on issue or investigate issue where the general or the bulk of Sierra Leoneans get interest on, but then they investigate what's they're interested in. So that
no SLPP interest, not the public interest.
Yeah.
SLPP interest.
So that brings me to the question. We don't see recent happenings like Una Sef don't say Naya, so they are real that like the Anti-Corruption Commission, they really go after the opposition and especially people they feel that are potential, for the 2023 election. So now we don't see recent happenings say the mayor in issue don't become a public discourse about the very constant intimidation, let me put it that way, where it is faced from the beginning of in time. We see how it's been openly intimidated and abused by the minister. And also we see how anti-corruption focus or puts their radar on top the mayor in issue. Now when I don't talk, say the things the way people one for no, but the anti-corruption, they focus on that, but they are focused on the things where the SLPP or they're interested in. And could that be the issue of the mayor?
So the examples plenty. Not forget, say, prior to the elections of 2018, the focus of corruption, the evidence of corruption, where the opposition then now the government been gets. Now evidence produced by the audit service earlier. And that evidence it been so consistent that not to just the government now, not to just the SLPP opposition then be the user, but almost every other opposition party they rely on now. So that be the strength of the nation. So then they also make sure say we as a country we mobilize behind the audit service alone, for give more support, for give more power, for give protection, for give more independence. So this audit service don't come under serious attack by this government over and over to a point where then unceremoniously, and some people they even say now illegally removed the auditor general. But that one they didn't accord. So I go left hand for the court for decide.
Yeah, I will just go another side. Yeah.
Yeah, the same audit service report, it mentions say also I say just now 2016, 2017, 2018, and 19 combined. 2020 report. The money where they thief, it plenty past them all. But the ACC choose for only investigate money where admittedly was spent, approved through the normal and formality of the Freetown City Council to be expended for particular purposes for the benefits of council and the members them way did it. The SEC choose for investigate that one aspect there. In the middle of millions of dollars, they say the $20,000 where or almost $20,000 where the mayor where the council spend for the mayor in personal assistance has to be refunded. And so they put the mayor on the spotlight for that particular thing. So what's the one they show? It go for justify what I done the talk earlier. Say the focus not on the corruption itself. The focus now on the opposition. for cripple the opposition. And it's unfortunate that I'm saying this, and I feel bad for Tokam, but that is the stark reality, except if we no one for call a spade a spade. Unfortunately, the people that don't come on the target of the ACC, now prominent people of the main opposition, All People's Congress. That is the unfortunate thing. So why people that they feel say, and myself get that feeling, they say the Anti-Corruption Commission only focus for feds corruption when it involves APC leaders.
But
but
why you think say the ACC focus on the mayor and left out all the one they don't mention so today and just focus on the mayor? But
no,
at the same time, now it right for investigate if he say something they were not right.
And I think say me they feel say just focus on the mayor. I see me position very clear, saying that the opposition, and you look at the consistency. After commission of inquiry done, nothing not been there again for investigate. Until Africanist press camp begin shooting them. That is when the commission begin bring APC people in back camp. So after the commission of inquiry done, the next new block of people there for investigate. Now people are with the government, the president government, and also me no more don't talk about. The American ambassador in the last address we go now public for talk about what he don't do. He mentions that the commission don't do well for feds corruption in the past government. But then was the time for start for feds corruption inside the SAPP. In other words, the commission now, they don't membership now, the government or the SAPP. Then was the time after the commission done the work. Then was the time for begin feds inside. But as we talk now, we not see evidence of a serious fight or any fight at all where this commission don't take up for government officials or people that were inside the SAPP. Why I say that? The one big case we come revealed by the Africanist press and people in the tribe for downplay that aspect. But the revelation come up from the Africanist press say about $4 million was expended in 2019 for the renovation or so-called renovation of the New York Embassy office of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Now, people don't remember say the government of President Bio take office on the 4th of April. So since then, every money we don't come up from the consolidated fund or any reserve from Salon to anywhere. Now money we supervised and transported or transmitted by the present government. However, what did the ACC do? Now for take the investigation to 2011 and make sure say them bring come past government officials. And by doing that, then bring come Dr. Samura Kamara. Say Dr. Samura Kamara be supervised initial transactions of the renovation process of the US Embassy building. Unfortunately, Samura Kamara now the only person where they don't charge to get when a high profile person regarding the money where they lost. The commission, however, go public, admittedly say they don't receive money from senior government officials. Some of them, then they try for payback, but the commission refuse for name those people, refuse for charge those people, and refuse for come out plain to the public on who was involved. Rather, they charge the one single person, when a high profile person, when at the former flag bearer of the All People's Congress. So the consistency is there for make reference to. So not a minimum just
from all indications,
the same story, but this is the fact where people do not like for you.
Okay, from all indication, it seems that Imran, make a come to you. From all indication, it seems like a pattern from waiting ISF don't say it's like a pattern of the anti-corruption. Anytime where the all learn and throat, they get for go back to the opposition. Anytime they all learn and throat and get for go back for begin say, okay, well, let's go back 5 years back, let's go 2 years back, let's go 3 years back. And Imran, I'm going to talk about the mayor because we all know lay out like consistently CISA, the anti-corruption, is going after the strong opposition members, strong potential people for the 2023 or strong opposition members. And we all see, like I say, how mayor issue don't become a topic of discourse at the whole country, and how we see the anti-corruption every now and again, they call them back and forth, and we even don't see a letter with the anti-corruption for either for crime or court or for let it pay the money. Why do you think say that she has been constantly in the eyes of the anti-corruption and not other people found it wanting?
Honestly, I tell you, thank you for asking this question. And I want to tell me, brother, yes. Honestly, if it be possible, I will go kiss Musa Isidom, the things that we talk, you know, it's so get some spots on enough funny. And I want to tell APC thank you. If APC can follow this road when they choose people in for public office, people in way capable, that woman a very qualified chartered accountant. He practiced to very high level in England. He practiced up to managerial, directorial level before he left. He goes Sierra Leone. So she's very capable. And when you look at, me na person I like epidemiology, the study of trend, it's clear, as my brother put up. The woman, they make them look bad. You know, when you get 100-watt bulb, you put candle near.
So how the mayor they make the government look bad?
She's doing very well in her capacity. While the governments, they fail consistently. The governments, when they come, then tell we say they can do anti-corruption. They don't fail Panandi. Then talk say that they can't do free education. Not when they start free education as a law. Now Kabas Statam. Kabas Statam, it give all primary free education. That was even a lie. Kabana in Statam. So they can't say they give universal free education. That is not true. And where Anes Kurumakam, it continue with them. It make free education at certain other areas them. It's like for say, I go for Gogo buy Kukrimi, money no full up. I did negotiate with the woman. Mr. Kurumakande asked, I say, hey, but my brother, what did happen? But full up me no. He say almost left, bo. I say I get 250. Left 50 cents for make a full up. You put 50 cents there. Then you can't claim now, say now you buy cookery for me. This is what they did with free education. Let we forget about that. Let we come to the issue. Yeah. If them people are serious about corruption, if me na the ACC boss, one area they West Sierra Leone and they know they talk about. Where you investigate things like this, one of the very first things we think about are the interest, public interest first. If you take public interest into account, right now, not over go after Samura. Samura, they all don't free them, but they say they name not the day.
No, I'm being specific here with the mayor issue now. Yeah, I don't have the time. That's
they can't call the mayor. If they want to investigate, then they investigate the COI itself. The money when they spend on that thing, it was not prudent. What did they achieve? What did they don't achieve? After them billion, and we get hospital or not they work. We'll not get water supply for people then. Do you guys realize the amount when they spend on that COI? They don't achieve nothing. Panda COI day. The people that want to man, they tell us say, play ball with we or we prosecute you. We see quickly the apprentice how we don't have Jamawas, he don't go SLPP. So in for a thief or in allegation, yeah, they know they ask him again. Then now
what are you refer to?
Nah, Alpha Kanu.
Okay.
So then they say play ball with we. If you play ball with we, you don't have anything to answer. We don't see it don't happen. People that will be prominent man at COI, they don't play ball with them. They've been left to go unscathed. Then now we get this woman. We get a program. A program get teeth in a bet. Look at the program where you show when they do the waste management plants where it bring calm. We need that. Freetown will get a sewer system. A lot of people know they ask people and why people in the get typhoid. Typhoid is simple. That means to say excrement in the water where the people in the drink. People in the water in Sierra Leone, what would they drink? Now they cause the typhoid. This woman don't go bring something like that. Then people let them talk, say, then go bring a car wash. You go bring car wash, car water, no day, pump no day for supply water. You say they bring electric train, will not get electricity. You talk for say they can bring a food sufficiency. You not create a cooperative bank for give farmer and loan. But all the things that way Yvonne say they can do, she's achieving them. And if you look at what they can pick on, they say the woman spend money for a consultant then. The consultants were value for money. Where they go for go fed corruption. Now prudency, you they look at the money what this person spend and what he achieve. Is it worth it? If not that, then they do. Nobody no go talk for say, then they pick and choose and they cherry pick. But me brother, I'm not saying in the Sierra Leone, he gets more access to information. Do you tell we almost $1 billion they spend on the COI and make you look me and tell me say anything on the COI. This is what no, to be honest, this is what we should be talking about. Not to Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr. Yvonne Aki-Sawyerr don't do projects them. If they do exploit, when I see that woman they talk na CNN, the way they explain things in Sierra Leone, he represents us. Now I met somebody who said that they say to me, oh, this woman if we make a vice president. I say if we make a vice president as alone, we don't underuse them. This woman, if APC win election, me go campaign for them make a foreign secretary, foreign minister. Because we can sell our country.
I just want to say something.
I want to move to another important issue. Okay,
just 1 minute to say something about Yvonne. I think so. Yes. Mayor Yvonne, now one of the biggest success stories for Salone since 2018, and people have destroyed that particular story there where they developed. Now, what to make I say that now because if you look at the programs where Mayor Yvonne and the Freetown City Council don't take part, we don't implement na Salone. Now, the basic and the most fundamental thing the way the city of Freetown actually look forward to and where they need. So she and her council not just spend money, are the one for spender. Then they go fundraise, and I think they're in background down there as well. If they fundraise, bring money and spend them for the thing the way actually they bring benefits to people, residents of Freetown. So it don't transform the Freetown. Most people, the way they go to Salone, we don't come out before 2018, we come after 2018. Admittedly, say the city don't they change. It don't expand, but it's changing. And Yvonne has been selected from among several other mayors then, you know, where they recognize the program the way they do. And people then they were outstanding citizens of the globe. They look at Yvonne as a success story, somebody where get the vision, where they resonate with the rest of the world, where why they support what they do. So I think that one aspect there. Nothing where for political purposes, not look they go well with the government of the day, and so therefore and other people them around think say if they allow this story for continue the way they go, so it overshadow what the government they do, and so therefore assumption is almost there for say she's been targeted because of what it is succeed for do and the story where they develop from the leadership where they create na Freetown City Council. But having said that, me not they say the Anti-Corruption Commission not get right for investigate anybody, including the mayor of Freetown. They get right, but the explanation will don't come out from her being to the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament, from her being invited on number of occasions by the Anti-Corruption Commission, and waiting on commode from the findings of the investigation, where not of something where Yvonne or the city council deny, not of something where they do under the table, not of something where hide, or when something where discovered from somewhere.
There were authentic receipts to the effect.
They go through all the formalities. But the question is, how much money 2019 reports, part of which Yvonne is being so-called harassed, how much money be lost in 2019? Millions of dollars. But how much money Yvonne and Freetown City Council able for gather for bring them back na Freetown? Millions of dollars. So I think say from Yvonne inside, in your justification for spending money, we go through the formalities was that if you need this particular person will be a resource for them for do what he is able for do, for get all those fundings for coming. So it was justified for spend that kind $20,000 a day for bring out millions of dollars. Where the anti-corruption gets so addicted by and left the rest
we need to understand say other people in the government parastatals, even the first lay the office where they go and cannot they bring nothing. But anyway,
I want to conclude.
No, I don't get time, Ibrahim. I want to move that.
Basically, Yvonne, they make SLPP governments they look bad.
Okay.
And they don't like them.
Okay.
The
So
woman is a golden child where anything where it touch, it turn gold. And this is tormenting for them. It don't make they don't get cocoa, they don't get rash all over their body. So they get for come after them. And the funny thing, it is good for APC because now they don't all Yaya Tunis. Then they after Yvonne. And you see the thing is, what in the Monami, always before they do this thing, then they show the inclination, then they show say they want to do them, then they begin like play.
Okay, I'm not get much time again. Okay. I want to go to another important issue where you just mentioned Yaya Tunis, because we don't see again like a pattern where these governments they say we get freedom of speech, but we're not going for at the rest of one day if we get freedom of speech in a salon. Then also we don't see how time after time where then the all oppositions the way they make certain statements on radio or on TV, then they all them. We don't see Femi Claude-Scholl, we don't see Diana, we don't see strong women then are the opposition basically being attacked. Then we also don't see Yaya Tunis and so many other people that we are not able to mention because of time. But before we go to that, because that's not first of all not a constitutional right for freedom of expression. Before we go to that, now where this government where people are assuming and say the government don't make things tight for posting enough for protest, posting enough for wear black, posting enough for do this, posting enough for do that. Let me take you back to waiting the ACC will say at one point. Let me take you guys back.
Why do people vote governments? Governments are voted to make the lives of their people better. If they cannot make their lives better, then that is a failure of social contract. And when there is a failure of social contract, the counterparties, in this case, who are the people, need to demand from their governments that what is done is not what was agreed. We have to stand up for what we believe in. We cannot accept this way of life. We have to reject it.
You guys take it to these guys. And again.
Okay. That is Ben Kelfala before it become the NCC boss. I know you need for explain. Don't tell me waiting that the responsibility of government, and if government not able to provide them for the people of the country, the people get for resist or the people get for take to the street and protest and express them feeling. Now we are seeing none of this at this point in time. And any attempt of the opposition basically will say something, then go all you, then go call you for questioning or for investigation of all of that. Ibra, let me go to you quickly because we'll not get time. How we want to explain this way Ben Kelfala say as compared to what they happen now by this government way inside the inside.
So first of all,
no, let get Ibrahim, I can get you quickly. Okay. We'll not get time again.
First of all, I want to categorically say 100% agree with what Ben Kelfala say in that particular video.
Yes.
Because part of democracy, some of the tenets of democracy, one of which is that people get the right for protest. Then get the right for engage government. So, for example, if people then go for go protest, they provide security for them and tell them the lane when they take for go, and then you can send a government official for go and read what they do, and if appropriate, if it's safe, it can even address them and take from what they get if they get right up, and then government go look at that. Now that's how democracy is them. now the other parts of the world, they function. So when it comes to protests, there are two things where they invite people there for look at. One, now what did the law say about protests? There are two laws where conflicting, but the police and most times the states, they use the old law. Will not get, in my own view, not get any legality. Now, there is a 1965 Public Order Act where they say before you protest, you get police inspector general forgive you, the police commissioner forgive you, the approval. Get for right to give you approval before you go protest. However, there is a 1991 Constitution where say you get the right for freely express yourself, you know, including for protest. You know, and the same Constitution say any law where inconsistent with any provision of the Constitution is null and void and have no effect. So mere argument I don't argue over and over. Now that same old law, the 1965 Public Order Act, where the state and the police they rely on, is unconstitutional, void, null, it not get no effect now under the law. But then they continue for user. Why? Because they give political capital, they give political strength. And we don't need for seek parliamentary approval or parliamentary amendment. The Constitution don't amend them. It not get function, it not get no rule. That's not my own position, and I still wait for somebody for challenge me say I'm wrong. But the second thing now that whereas we don't see protest them, videos of recorded protests na Thailand and Bo undisrupted. Other side them where they don't protest, we don't see how it leads to deaths of young people. For example, we don't see protests in Thailand. Nobody not died. Nobody was arrested. We don't see protests in Botong. Nobody was arrested. Nobody died. We don't see protests in Makeni. At least 6 people died instantly. We don't see protests in My 91 people died. We don't see protests somewhere in the peninsula. People died. So again, it comes to the same thing when they talk about pattern. And why people then feel say the law under this particular government is to protect particular sets of people and make people and they feel comfortable, and then it make another set of people feel vulnerable and unprotected. So this now in the what don't happen.
So why
and we get for call and go.
So why you think say
we get for calling? Yes, go on.
I just want you let me just listen make reference with what Ben Kelfala say about expressing your right to protest. No, we wear black because government need to do this, government need to do that. And now the same thing they apply, the same thing no they apply. But then in the past government, he applied. He himself was calling for people to go out and wear black. But now when people wear black, opposition wear black, they chase them away. They call them in fact, they call them for questioning. So this is my question.
They show two things. One, somebody tell me when you talking about platform, a live program I watch on Facebook, one lady, he said, what in Mother Bio don't do, it don't make an Escoma look like angel. And these were people where the anti-APC, anti-Anescoma. So now that they put President Bio now a stage where they analyze what he tell them before why they support him and what he do now after you win elections. So whereas during the time when the opposition, President Bio himself goes to the television and address Sierra Leoneans, say these terrible things go happen. It go disappoint everybody, and even people that don't show videos of him, they tell people and say they not for be calm, whereas in calm as leader,
let me just now that you take me there before Imran Kaisai, let me just take you there. Let me just take you there.
We want to be polite about politics, but we should never forget that politeness
in African politics can be a disadvantage.
Yes.
So while I keep my calm, I do not expect you to be calm all the time. I am the leader, I should be calm, but you should not be calm all the time.
Yes.
So exactly what you were saying.
So what you had to talk in short now that we don't see how people there who belong to the opposition, they don't get physically attacked. Some people died in Lumley, for example. The constituency chairman of the All People's Congress was attacked by thugs who were alleged to be members of the new regime. And nobody did not charge. We don't see one lady from Kailaon, who is a member of the All People's Congress. These are just one or two that stand out to me. Were serially raped by known operatives, allegedly known operatives of the SLPP. Nobody, I don't hear so many videos and people calling for investigation. Nobody was investigated.
Okay.
So when you put all them things together, including watching Francis talk on that video, say people they get rights when there is a breach of the trust where we give to government, they get right for where black and demonstrate. That apt statement will apply. But I get testimony from Dr. Bright and Madam Femi Claudiusco, where they talk, say the first day they announce and even Waka with black just from the office to Lockhart building. They were stopped by police. They were harassed. And they were not even disturbing traffic. They were the Waka, not the pathway, not the footpath.
Okay.
And so the finance say in the last administration, people in opposition, including operatives, they send incendiary statements and make videos and call for violence and call for this and that. Nobody was apprehended for that. In other words, their freedom for express themselves was guaranteed and was upheld. But under this administration, I need not tell you whether the freedom of the Constitution is being upheld and the guarantee people the right they guarantee. No. Because of all of these things will not happen. People being arrested, people being harassed, people being invited. Take the instance of Sidi Yaya Tunis and Madam Femi. Madam Femi go accompany somebody. It's like saying you not get your business for Kaya. Why the Kaya? They arrest you and detain you. Simple as that. You know, Sidi Yaya Tunis went to a radio station and said, we demobilize the people for sure they say they get right for protect their destiny. Because the election they cancel. He's been harassed, he's kept in prison for 2 days without bail. How can you do that? So what in this they do? And we get to understand this, not just for today. What in this they do now that given the culture of politics, it reinforce bad governance. It reinforce and encourage other people the way they come after Madam You for the worst things. So that you don't deter people them for doing nothing and you come on power. So you almost get ready for get the worst thing what you don't do to the other people.
I want to make him for more small this issue of constant, questioning by the opposition, whether APC or other political party or COP, anytime they make certain statements, then look at them as a threat. And we have videos and audios of some of those the real threat statements by this government, the term where the APC party be there in power. Before you talk, just take a listen to this short.
It is always the duty of the military to intervene to protect this constitution. And let me come, yes, let me come, please. Lima. It is always the duty of the military to intervene to protect this constitution. And let me come, yes.
All right, so we don't see, we don't hear, as I said, we don't see a lot of strong statements coming from this government then when they be the opposition. but their security and everything been guaranteed because I mean everybody be gets a voice, the freedom of speech and what association, everything was protected. But now it's a flip. It's on the other side. So what do you think they happen here? The irony where Ben Kelfala they talk about Black Monday, they forgo. Then now when the opposition is calling for Black Monday, they take offense to that. When the opposition is talking about level 3, probably they don't understand, then take offense to that.
Media, this is now one of the things in this way the more me pass all. My brother go agree with me, and you say go agree with me. The political dishonesty, the political hypocrisy, the political lies. Then people are where they talk. So if you remember, they were not in office. When they go, but when people then say, board where they eat, they make noise. Now then they eat, they mouth them full up. They don't mondo. So now all of a sudden that voice say when they talk, say Renaissance. People should come out and speak. People should come out and respect Section 26, where we all get rights for protest, rights for freedom of speech. And now we don't see clearly. Waiting and they talk then when they not be in power. When they come, they all don't turn to Idi Amin. Now Idi Amin, I tell we say, yes, people are entitled to freedom of speech, but if you talk, you not guarantee freedom. So now that they happen now in Sierra Leone, you can speak all you want. If you want to speak, we still have freedom of speech in the Constitution. But if you talk, the government not going to guarantee you freedom. So now, people are being muzzled. But the thing is, when you look at it in totality, this man, young man, people say, oh, it's a promise, it's a talk. Look like that the only constitution. Look, this constitution for guide them, for defend them. Have they defended it? They don't abuse the constitution where they pull 10 members of parliament. The constitution clearly stipulates, say, they forget by election if you remove somebody. It is not negotiable. Then bring them cronies them. Then can put them in parliament. Irregardless waiting the constitution say. They don't respect them. Then go bring speaker. A noted criminal will sell with passports them. Just for they can make ends to means to an end. Because Madabio is corrupt. Madabio say one can do corruption. But he not get the moral authority. And he showed that in where he can put somebody who not supposed to be speaker. All man knows say that APC get majority. Now they forget the speaker. He come, he forcefully put him. Then he talk about how you call him. For let people them work with them. But I don't notice certain things them where there's a crusade. I don't know the lawyer not go agree with me or not go agree with me. They talk against anybody who talk about protest. As you talk about protest, they call it lawlessness. And protest, it is enshrined in the Constitution. And if it is enshrined in the Constitution, it is not lawless. We even get the right to civil disobedience. You get two types of civil disobedience. You get the one where you do violence, that is wrong. You get the one where you do passive civil disobedience. You will not just go and sit down. You will not cause no problem. You will not just not compliant. People don't get right to do that. And we also see when they try for brainwash people and say they're not for come out for protest if they hold their leaders. And they're not for come out. They happen anywhere in the world. Michael Jackson, when they hold him for child abuse in America, see almost million people come up for go support him. Donald Trump, see almost million people come up for go support him. Make we left this political hypocrisy. If the people feel to say what they do Samura is wrong, they have every right to come out and protest. What is protest? Protest now where then they want you so food. The person where they want you so food put too much warm towel. You want why? Now for make you make the person where they want you so food, no say the so food, not to warm you the warm and born you the born. And then get rights for Kankrai, say we are not happy the food where you cook for we get too much salt. Then get the rights for Komot can talk for say, hey, but when they go toilets now, you know they give we toiletries. The people then get rights for can complain. And not to just parliamentary, because this is one of the other areas where I can find one thing. When people like you say, oh, the MP now they complain. If MP now they complain, the people then get the rights for complain. Say, una the MP then una they do the work we put for do. So what did not happen? I find out for say the people and they don't, you know, they don't take all their rights in their hand. They can't speak anymore. They cannot talk anymore. And then very people and them they talk about constitution. We see how they make states of emergency in our country, how they use them for muzzle people, them kill people in the country, and that's so he left Buffy, that's so he left. But now one thing me get for say, mortal man, for always land say the same rain we make bitter leaf bitter, then they make sugar cane sweet.
Okay.
Waiting and they do so, then don't they do them? Salt and sugar, fiber. Now only when you taste it, you go know the difference. Now the people that don't taste, they don't know for say SLPP na salt. In large quantity, it's not sweet at all. But in large quantity, APC na sugar, APC better. So na then get water, na then get flour. If then decide say, na Mother Biyogo can kill them, because this is exactly what is happening in the country. They are not there to serve the people. They are not there for service. They are not there to make life better for the people. As how Ben Kefala say. Ben Kefala say governments did it for make life better for people. Give people the ingredients for make they enjoy their life in their country. Make the resources for be split into pizza size. Make all man get your own pizza and eat. If you know they give them the pizza, the people then for come out and protest and say they're not happy. Now that very protest they don't hold now we hand. When we talk about protest, they say na civil disobedience. When they say protest, they talk for saying na lawlessness. Yaya Tuni say then they can escalate the level of protest to level 3. They ask him, it say legal means. What's in upon legality when people are not understand? And me they talk to the APC. I want to use your platform for talk to the APC senior men them. I was so angry was he answered they go na 98.1 again. That radio station they don't make a report. And can the young Kela talk about this? He said, what that they use and they make reports, their recommendations will not they follow them. Therefore, don't close that radio station. That radio station, they know they ever follow the best interest of the country. Radio station where anybody go there, then they go try for set them up. Right. They life and so they set up with people in that country, they would then kill them. And then still they panda practice it. And it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. So me they tell APC, make none of them not go to 98.1. 98.1, right. It is not a radio station where they seek the interest of the people.
Okay, Tony Camera. Okay, good. All right, I see say you want to respond because I want to ask you as a lawyer, what's in Yaya Tuni say level 3? If
okay, so
what's the interpretation?
So for the one that they follow me on Twitter, me now one of the first people that will tweet immediately after they invite Sidi Yaya Tunis on the basis of what he talk. And I want for paraphrase what he talk as closely as possible. So the question was, as opposition, what you not get for do now? When all these things they happen, because the problem they boku. So he make reference to one. He said, we don't try for make suggestions to this government, because as opposition, we also get responsibility, not to for just criticize. We make suggestions to the government so that they will know what they're waiting for do. He said, but it no work. Then they take her. Secondly, he said, we together with the other membership of COP, we don't try for Kanto president. We don't write to her. Say no, she don't talk, no engage. So we should go able for give you we own small sense because the problem too much. They not take her. He says so we they take her to the 3rd level. So we don't done level 1, level 2, and level 3. So the 3rd level, now they ask us, what does that mean? The 3rd level means say we they mobilize the people of this country for make them understand, say they get right, and then get right for protect their destiny. Because now election 10 they cancel. They get for understand what they are at stake, so that they go for do what he writes for themselves for this country. So they ask them back. They say, what do you mean? He said, we go for do down there lawfully, within the bounds of the law. What you will get right for do, now they do. They ask them back, he repeats them 3 times. Say, we go for do them, but they do them within the confines of the law and lawfully. So there was nothing, absolutely nothing. Number one, why they for even invite them for camp. Number two, for go to the extent for detain him for 2 days, for that matter, without bail. That is a violation of his constitutional rights, freedom for expressing himself, and not for be detained frivolously like for that kind of offense.
So you want to say the government be deliberately interpret what in CDI at Tunis say? Was it a deliberate attempt just to muzzle the opposition, or is they have no idea or they have no understanding of the statement?
They do. So I give me my own opinion as an individual. I believe say they understand say the statement of Yaya Tunis, it not mean no harm. I believe say they understand say that particular statement say it not violates, it not cross any red line, it not violates any criminal law in our country. They understand that one. However, they also understand say when the opposition, and by the margins of the strength of the opposition presently in the country, including not just the APC, but the consortium of political parties where they work with the APC, there is a possibility that once they don't begin to talk about mobilization, it means that that particular statement, it will go down to the ordinary man and believe, say, the time is ripe for us to come together to understand that our future is at stake, and we get for come together, resolve, say, our future, now we say safe get for saver. They don't want people to understand that. And so a statement for say they mobilize, it almost go offensive. But this is not the first time. Anything where legitimately they make their way in our government feel like, oh, but they can't lose power. They feel so frightened to lose power. Then they go after that particular thing. And this is one of the there was no wrongdoing. There was no incitement. And they understand all of that. They just feel threatened. They just feel that, oh, they can't put me in power. And so that kind of feeling they should be met by an action to detain. So for muzzle, for inflict fear, for inflict some kind of pain to opposition. Then if we say now within a government, and I can begin to say with the go. So what they try for also do now for set the stage. And people have to understand that. Say the opposition get for be ready and united. Because this particular administration, all these are signs about what they potentially able for do for frighten people then. The only way for pull people away, afraid for come out na power, not through the ballot. And let us use that platform. All the platform they all they get for tell
not only the only way that they democratically they can do leadership challenge na SLPP, they can do vote of no confidence. There are many ways.
The so people that SLPP and they tell you categorically
say enough is enough, enough should be enough.
Mr. Ture, I completely disagree with you on this particular aspect. And this is why. Me not see nobody in the SLPP. I not see nobody in the SLPP where they go and put and call the party for remove President Bio. Nobody not did it. And secondly,
you disagree with me for say SLPP not they do them, but that leverage is there for them to use. If they
will not do it. So for me,
well, no. I'm going to make it clear to the people them, you're not a lawyer. Because what in they happen, we don't see say that they tell people all the time say they only tell whether they pull leader. Now Sierra Leone, now through ballot box. Me believe say that is a lie. They can impeach them, they can do leadership challenge, and they can do votes of no confidence. So confirm na ya, you're not a lawyer. It's not possible for them 3 days.
So what are the type of talking like that? Me a pragmatist. Now only what are they talk, not to just about what in the law say. I will come to what you talk about the law. What in the law say they can impeach a president, you are perfectly right. And me think say several things and then they where President Bio don't do where Parliament needed to have investigated.
I'll be just to ask you. I'll be just anyway. I'll be
God bless you.
God bless you. And start impeachment proceedings. I believe that one day. And for any government, also for any president, not just President Bio, if you cross that line, you know, if you cross that line, they have to investigate you and institute impeachment proceedings. Clearly, that is a fact. And also within the party, they can challenge them. But because I am my own approach in a pragmatic approach, I not believe say SFPP, nobody, anybody did where German challenge President Bio. I don't believe they have it because they are all subservient, unfortunately. And I'm sorry to say this, but with due respect to them, they cannot. It's the same thing with
somebody don't challenge them. Somebody challenged her recently. Mr. Kane Nakene, Madam, I come out and make a phone. They lock her up.
Now, well, that me not call that one a challenge. That was not
okay.
Okay, but not just finish on this point. It's very important that we talk about selective application of the law, where other people in the same are selective justice. We'll not reach to the justice science. But the selective application of the law to people in Sierra Leone, they are the same country, same nationality. It don't eat into society, and it's very bad. Why bad? Now that it is set up people them. Even people that when you forgive. Say, for example, you take the case of Musa Tarawali, who was fired because of corruption. They find out one thing under the Commission of Inquiry. You left her. And what did he do? He go rejoin the party, say because in a Southeastern Ikandi. So he make person like that one day, he free for integrate with people where we don't work with before on the APC. That is what you have done.
Yeah.
Similarly,
with you.
Like Vice President Fo.
Bad culture.
Former Vice President Fo, not the same thing. Una meet a sealed docket for charger. All right? Una can't go court, but una left her. And it more like say it don't go to SAPP. There they behave. So you don't make you don't go through the process. I forgot through them.
Where we rest, we left
you don't make that kind of particular mandate. Even though the claim say he's still APC, he will never feel safe to attend the APC meeting. So the same thing happened with somebody like Alpha Khan, what you mentioned, Jishno. That kind of mandate will never feel safe. So whereas they think, say, okay, then people I need them, so they apply the law to them differently. And Alpha Khan was, however, found to be liable under the Commission of Inquiry. And he admitted, he is one of those who admitted liability. All right? So that kind of person.
You pay the money, yeah, I agree with you. If you pay the money, that you don't admit guilt.
Yeah. You don't even qualify for appointment because of they don't find you guilty of a criminal offense. But we all country, everything passes. Everything passes. You know, some of the other bad thing nowadays. So the other thing I want to mention, now the case of the chairman of the SLPP. Now, there is an opposition leader called Muhammad Kamarimba Masari. He's been languishing in prison for nearly 2 years on an allegation of having carnal knowledge or some kind sexual connection with somebody of a minor age. All right?
Not to minor. In reality, not to minor.
On investigation. By the way, and as a matter of fact and law, he was entitled to be granted bail. So that the offense of when I charge her with, now bailable offense, therefore don't grant and bail, even from day one, because one of his stature, and secondly, not to allow the run away, because he gets a political party with the head. Now the country.
And not put any threats to the
not the boss. He can give any bail condition. Strict bail condition, say for example, no candidate to the person who accused you or whatever it is.
Guys, can we wrap up?
He's still there in prison. The chairman of the SLPP, he commits one of the 3 highest crimes of the country, murder. And the Attorney General office advised that there was sufficient evidence why they for charge him with murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Imagine, that case they don't die. He was not charged.
Yeah.
Harvard George Williams and Abubakar Darami, they spent 9 months in prison on an allegation, not by the person where so-called, where they be say die, or where we make a statement say people that attack him, not by that person they where subsequently die, and I'm sorry for that because that person was a very good journalist. But by other people, some of them were not even there. And it turned out that Abu Bakr was not there, George Williams was not there, and then they end up for acquit them and they charge them. Because the evidence not there for connect them. They spent that much time in jail. Big people in our society.
Not only Samura, they pass right now. Not only Samura, they pass right now.
No, I just want to follow we close on that particular note the way ISD. So now that note on that note say I want for make we wrap up and at this juncture for make Salon people know. Having said all of this, like you say, from one opposition leader to another, from one opposition strong woman to another, all of this, what we don't talk today, is like a pattern, a trend. So at this point, having said all of this, Salon people in the watch, is the ACC a political witch hunt? Mr. Imran.
Well, I don't talk earlier, say the ACC now a weaponized institution. It is only there for fire missile on the opposition, not for corruption. In fact, the other day, they tell me, Paddy say, not to anti-corruption. This is now pro-corruption. Pro-corruption for SLPP and anti-corruption for APC members. And you cannot run a country like that. Because you see, for stop corruption, one of the key ingredients, not trust. People have to believe in the institution. The community, because the man himself, when just elected, we go try for that we improve the educational aspect for teach people and let them understand what would they do. We get for make people and for them go change attitude. How would people change attitude when they know say if you now member of the APC, you red, you get blood, and you are fallible. But if you're not chlorophyll, you're not SLPP, you can thief, you can do anything in the country, you can get away with murder. Like how they don't kill people them now Pandeba Road, then say Jule they go can do reports, you don't re-report. You see, what they talk about pattern. Now the same thing is they happen with the Auditor General he report. They don't say they go call tribunal. They don't call them. Not almost months they go so. Then they left and let they lie, they go, then he died naturally. Now so they don't do with the pandemic. And now they call Salon people them. They don't kill una picking them all. They tell Jule will say all of a sudden I put lock on them bonam. When I call them bonam. For making right report, check they will not see report. The pen not it, the paper not it. Then now, they say that they can investigate. Just see the pattern. Then they can investigate. Then they can get a tribunal when they can investigate the Auditor General issue. But Mrs. Salek, you stupid self. The woman he reports for come out 2 weeks for let it come out. And then we don't they talk for say, this woman here, it's a bit woke. All the reports and what he make, and then take fed APC. This very nerf, when they take kill them, kill APC fall. What I want to use the nerf now for kill them, they say the nerf too sharp. You know me, now the Salon people let me blame. Because at this point, now the country, not to Madabio get the country, Madabio they employ them, they give a mandate. And if you know they do the mandate as it's supposed to do them, the people they get every right. But it is very, very, very I don't call it unprecedented. Salon went from independence. Nobody no agree for nothing. This is not the first time that the history of Sierra Leone where all the opposition group there over 13 parties together solidly for oppose this government. The government not interested for listen or care for no. That don't show say this man he not get shame, he not get character, he not get values, he not get principles. For the simple fact, but you don't fail O level. Then you can't hold your papa say like you money for go pay fees for go from 6. The man no pass O level. He said they get money for let go pay school fee for go from 6. The man not qualified for go second term. Not at all. He has not done anything. And the man get the bold mind. He come before Sierra Leoneans. Say he don't achieve everything where he set up for do. That's a left and give the Salone people them. Because me no say, person can only abuse you if you give him permission. Salone people, and now we give Mother Bio permission for they abuse we. Now he make it go fend somebody way not gets character as he weft when a woman. Now then he swell at the people them anyhow. And it's just not acceptable. It's very painful. Make Salone people and wake up and smell the coffee. When you see Alpha can get the bold mind, they tell them for say Jesus Christ, he brought and throw in a dish. But how una feel say Salone people and so full way class 1 begin say Jesus Christ not get brother, they get disciple. How Alpha can so feel say Salone people and so stupid that Jesus Christ they sell him to a Palestinian. And even Joseph they not sell him to Palestinian. Now how they call the people themselves, they sell them to Midianites. And then people and they be Ishmaelites them. When are Midianite traders. Them guy they not get shame. That man they na clown, na jester, and all of them in the government, they are all clowns and jesters. Because if you can come and make claims, say they can't change the people in lives, you don't feel like how you don't feel so. You not get the decency for come and tell the people and say, sorry, I let you down. But rather, if you can't look them clear on their face, you tell them for say, I don't achieve everything I need for achieve. Achievement, you know, they boast them. People in the CM, it's visible. It's like we
go close with that achievement. I go one for it, get 1 state and 1 minute on that achievement. We'll close with. So IS, the same question go to you. Having said all of this, you know, the thing that plenty. I mean, sometimes we can't even able for keep track of the happenings every day, you know. And Iman say one thing, say if you allow for make the if they abuse you, now you allow for make they abuse you. So in the we first say they blame Salone people there because now then they allow for make the government abuse them. Having said all of that, you think say the Anti-Corruption Commission it's a political witch hunt, looking at all the past, the COI, and to date what in the happen and the corruption what it happened in real times. With all what I don't talk so, waiting at you. Perception of the Anti-Corruption Commission. And
well, several layers then they for categorize the anti-corruption. The idea itself, forget an independent institution will get power for prosecute people with the corrupt in the society. Fantastic idea. And so therefore in 2002, where President Kaba first began the idea, people have been glad, but within your own party, they fought against it, and the evidence is clear. And one of the reasons why President Kabani administration not able to succeed. But the first thing, and then the second legislation where Ernest Koroma in 2008, upon assuming power, and the second legislation where it passed, it do a new Anti-Corruption Act, where give complete independence to the Anti-Corruption Commission. Again, powers where the ordinary law enforcement agency not get power for stop, including the Attorney General. So that idea and the setting up institutions, its functionality, the authority we get, brilliant idea. Every government, every institution, every state need that kind of thing. But the way the Anti-Corruption Commission over the years, up till now, don't manifest, don't carry out, so you go able to grade them as they go. The criticism will don't come under the Anti-Corruption Commission. Now, you know, so some man go say, oh, now you begin look at why they talk, why nobody talk. But the criticism now, it really is so outstanding because of the pattern. And so therefore, people then justify for say, it's being used as a political tool. Because under the last administration, ministers were tried. Deputy ministers were apprehended, were detained for corruption offenses. Heads of parastatals were detained. But under this government, It's completely different. Even where the allegation is so serious, the evidence has been produced, the Anti-Corruption Commission, they turn a blind eye, so to speak, such that the public gets concerned about how the Anti-Corruption Commission, they go. So in that direction, you go say, of course, the Anti-Corruption Commission is being used to intimidate the opposition, to intimidate the main opposition, and make sure say then try for blacklists or somehow paint potential leaders of the main opposition, you know, so that they're not able to forget the votes or the people there for support them because of that. So that's a clear issue. But the corruption within the institution itself and outside. Now, one question where I continue for say we get for take the fight against corruption as a national emergency. Not so the national emergency your president be able to talk about. This is a national emergency. We're going to make sure say Sierra Leoneans, them, everybody get interested in what in the commission they do. Because the present commission only concerned about the rating when they get from MCC. And I want to say something about that. The Millennium Challenge Corporation, not so institution where they rate countries. I want to make that very, very clear. Not so institution where they rate countries as to how they perform, all countries as to how they perform on corruption. Then they rate countries as to how they perform in the fight against corruption, so that they go able for give them country and their money. So in other words, it is a focused kind of investigation what they do. Transparency International, now the organization was specialized, and I emphasize the word specialized. Then they specialize on fighting corruption and transparency issues. Then get particular thing them when an expert area when they look at. So the rating, however, where the government emphasize on, and that is on the placards. Now that the ratings when they get the MCC is higher than any other government or ever did a salute.
All right.
What do you get forget? It's very important to make people understand. What you need for us now that who are the people them when they sit down na the MCC board, na salon. Who are the people? The information where they is plenty. But the fact that members of this government, then at the MCC board, the fact that members them waiting at the board, they are strongly linked or aligned to the government of the day, show you say the results when they come up from the MCC is questionable. And nobody no go say it is not the fact. And that is why Sierra Leoneans them outside the country don't make statements them and write correspondences to the MCC for review some of them appointment they wouldn't get and the board representation wouldn't get, in particular na Salone. Because the MCC rating, it is show about 81% or so. Transparency International, when I expect them, they rate Salone 34% in the fight against corruption. So you tell me which are the difference there and why?
All right, okay.
You know,
corruption, if we I don't see corruption, if we fashion for talk about corruption at Salone, it's gonna be hours and hours and hours, because I mean I understand, I can see the passion, I can see the expression of how, you know, people and they feel, and I will not say we feel on behalf of Salone people where the ACC, they don't, you know, it's becoming a political witch hunt and all of that. Where UNASEF don't say, and coming from this comment section. But I'm really forcing to close. But there's something that is just playing into my mind, because this, I want to ask: is this a seed of revenge where Anti-Corruption Commission they sow, so that when other governments come again and pick their own revenge, and other governments come again, pick their own and revenge? So is this a good seed where the ACC will left for the next government or for the people of Sierra Leone? Imran, 1 minute.
Media, waiting I go say at this point, now make anybody will elect Sierra Leone, and I want to take this platform for say this. Are they being APC 100%? But APC get for sure their magnanimity when they win this election, because this is time for them for sure say they get the best interest for the people of Sierra Leone at heart. And one way we then show that when they take power, they're not for say because now they win, winners takes it all, as it don't be the usual system now we country. I feel to say this is not time for make them show magnanimity, make them show maturity, make them show emotional maturity. Because I use the word emotional maturity. That is one of the plague we politicians get. They are not mature emotionally. And when people are not mature emotionally, then get into politics, they are very dangerous. So I would tell APCC, whosoever win the election, make a platform where it call people them irregardless from where they come from. Make we get a coalition government. Because then people are also polarize the country. Distrust also they in politics like it never did. Whosoever take power, get for fend people and we can catch the puss and not pick puss for a collar. Let it pick puss with the catch a rata. So it go take Mendeman, if not Mendeman qualify for do that job there. Take so much. And me, I don't know why Salon people are too particular about this tribe. Me not care about you tribe. Are you capable of taking charge of any role? If not all team man qualify, give them. If not all team man, why not? But once the people are incapable for do the job, because now I make at the go, most times I can do things than why they talk about the history of Sierra Leone. Samuel Timaga, Mamana Timni. Samuel Timaga, we first prime minister. Imamana Timni. Make anybody put in hand up na Sierra Leone, we go talk for say, you know, get another ethnic mix na a family line. We are all mixed. So what's in this who are about? So me go beg whosoever win for make them take that very seriously. Make we get a coalition government. Make we not talk for say because now APC win, it get for be all APC. We said get a lot of APC member there. What we need for throwing at the T-box. And some of them will sabi them. And we not want to see them wear APC vest anymore.
All right, okay. All right, IS, what's it? I just talk and I also say in closure, the seed where the ACC don't plant, as we all don't agree now, and even from the comment section, it's like a seed of revenge. So will you see another government coming in to do the same, or what would you want to see?
So as a Sierra Leonean, I think say the first thing I want to see now a government we understand what it mean for being Sierra Leonean. So I go put myself as this government. For example, one, all Sierra Leoneans are brothers and sisters. Number two, we all get connection. Whether you are the south, Mama come out to the north, if you check properly, you are connected. No reason no day for me to be divided the way we divided right now. Even though the president acknowledged the division, but he reinforced the division publicly. And then there'll be sad statement where President Bio make.
And he gets so blood Panamu. He gets so
say the next government for be an inclusive administration. Just like what Mr. Teresi. An inclusive administration where not they look at person in name. Like the evidence we'll get now. When they look in name first. And admittedly so, the president say, now people the way is sorry. And the Minister of Information say, now because now president now in and get for all after 5 years, and people then get for go ask, he not care. If now all come on at the same tribe, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, he will be the other person, the only person that people would assess. So me feel say the next government for care. They're not for be like carefree, like I waiting they happen so. Because they either admit say they don't care. Because at the end of the day, now President Bio didn't get for ask. I believe say the next government for care about that. Because this country structurally don't disintegrate. For bring and come together, there has to be some sacrifices. And they make reference specifically to the opposition leaders where from COP. All the leaders when they talk, they say we acknowledge or they acknowledge the differences amongst them. They not agree on everything. They not agree on certain principles. They not agree on certain policies where they get. But there is one thing that they have now agreed on, that the way this country they go, it is not the right way. And that if it continues so, after the next election, so much damage go don't cause that some of them going to regret for fending themselves in a salon. And that's the position where me safety. Me believe say the leadership of all the other opposition parties, including supporters of this administration, get a duty for come together and support a transition government. We're going to shape up the country in history, for reshape the country, for make sure say everybody feel important once again, for make sure say the structural changes so don't take place under this administration. We correct them. For make sure say the policy deficits of this administration are corrected. So we're able to identify people who are specialized in particular areas and bring them come together in a coalition government. Meaning they say it has to be 50% or 20%. That is not what I'm saying. It's a government that has to bring resources together. Salon, we get plenty of people who specialize in different areas. We don't try this democracy of winner takes all. I have to say this now. It doesn't work for us at all.
Not a walk. Not a walk.
Me, from your experience, growing up, from Pakaba in Tewa beginning a sense, till now, this democracy of winner takes all doesn't work for Salion. It doesn't fit into our own society. It doesn't fit into our culture. So the idea of bringing 13 political parties together, it is a very good experimentation that every Sierra Leonean need to come together for support. Let us try it. Let us see how political leaders of different parties work together. And let us see how we will get experts them. We're not affiliated to political parties, working within the government for make sure say they provide technical advice for all the institutions where they function for run the government. Let us see what comes out of that. This experimentation, as far as me research, I don't research them thoroughly for a very long time. All right? This experimentation, it go work for the country. And I believe say, if other people then put their thought process into this, begin to look at the country as a country we get different tribes, but now a country we're able to come together and work together, we go get the solution to the problems they will get. We're not going to get the problem of tribalism. We're not going to get problem of selective administration of the justice system.
All right, okay, we basically just get...
We're not going to get problem of attacking regions or tribes or that kind of thing. Because
we basically now get 1 minute for each other. And this 1 minute, it will determine after this video, we'll make 1 minute on this after this video.
You know, they cost anybody. You tell and say, "Bo, me na politics. I want to come talk to you about me government. They don't do A, B, C. You go take the pass Z. Because the manifesto will be put out. When are the written document of the things that will be say they do? When I will put out, we don't done that one day. The things that we do, in fact, we don't do more things than the day inside the manifesto. You know the
right, so if I say would they go inside what's in the President Bio say, we'll not come on answer today. But the only thing I want to say, President Bio say, you don't all team from A to Z, you don't pass Z safe, you don't pass Z. After Z, we don't know who side, but anyway, he say don't pass Z, and you don't do all team that the manifesto. So having waiting President Bio say, is it possible that he will come back to power come 2023? If what he say, now he do. IS, let's close.
If what he say, now he do, politics is always, Mickey always say, a game of chance. All right? Me now one person will not get nothing against President Bio. I have to say this admittedly, that I don't get nothing against her. Now, possibly I don't sit down with one-on-one. One-on-one. Like I'm here, you to talk, but in person, in my office. I have nothing against him. Because politics not try. Some man they go try. If I win, I win. And we know who President Bio would be. A President Bio would be. We all knew. So for me, if the people there, Sierra Leonean, 3 million or so people believe say he can continue doing what he's doing now, then they will vote him to power. For make it continue for another 5 years. There's no question about that. No, me not able to focus on the time he say it's possible to make it, it's not possible to make it win. It is always possible. And besides, it is always possible because he is the man who is the president of the republic right now. He's exposed to state money. He's exposed to state power. And he gets a platform where they use. So the opposition should understand that. But however, what in the opposition gets, not to for just tell Sierra Leoneans how bad President Bio is, how bad his administration is, how incompetent he is, or how his government is full of thieves. Down there, they win you elections. What in the win you elections? Now for tell the Sierra Leoneans them, what you get for offer where President Bio and in team no gets. That is what Sierra Leoneans want to hear. They don't want to hear the same accusations. President Bio's government is as corrupt, perhaps more corrupt than the other governments. But the other governments have also been corrupt. Tidiane Kaba's government was corrupt, and the Skoma's government was corrupt. But this government in corruption, it don't escalate. So
that means this government don't set the record.
Yes, that's what the audit report say. Not to me say that the audit report. Want me to make statement and they refer you to my source. The audit report, 9 talker. Yeah, the 2020 report. So what are they talking about? Sierra Leoneans, the opposition parties, get strength for unseat President Bio when the election they go second round. But they have to use the strength. What are the strengths? The different resources that they have, the different expertise where the parties then get, the ability for ransack for go crisscross the city, the country. Where President Bio, the SLPP government, the SLPP officials, they're not able to do it. Even though they get the state apparatus. Okay. Secondly, they're able to pass messages were credible because they get political party there among them. We don't do tangible things there for sure, including the main opposition, All People's Congress. Now, the opposition, APC get plenty things for sure. So long way they talk about structure, infrastructure, nothing no day where you're able to trace to the SLPP. Nothing absolutely no day. Apart from the party offices. All right? When our party benefits. Secondly, you then get resources of people them who are able for West Sabi, and they listen to the C4C people them, and they listen to NGC people them, and they listen to PDP people them. They all get their constituencies, they all get strength like in different places. All right? They will bring all of that resource together for win an election, and so easily. But they have to work together and concentrate on their own power. How they're able for win people more. Not to how, not of if I for criticize President Bio, but the strength, therefore, be what you able for provide.
Okay, so let's end it there. We absolutely really run out of time today. This is to tell you that the conversation is really deep and people, they are still hanging in. So, Imran, with waiting President Bio say, you don't say A to Z, you don't pass Z. So I don't know after Z, waiting they able to say don't pass Z, and you don't do everything waiting then in manifesto. Could that win him an election again?
You know, when you compare the fact say he don't do all thing, I could tell the man say the man a clown, he didn't a dream cuckoo land, the man they in a fool's paradise. But for say he go come in, I not go able to determine, and neither I not go say he not go come in. This day na the saloon people they earn. Now he make I want the saloon people and wake up and smell the coffee. This man come in.
Now for push you 8 small come in.
Okay.
Okay, good. Yes.
This man can
1
meet.
minute, some 1 minute.
This man can meet an unequal society. It don't make a more unequal. This man can meet thievery in our country. It don't make a now thievery in an industrial scale. This man can meet injustices in our country. It don't can make we country even more unjust than it don't ever be in the history. In fact, it's polarized. So now the salon people, now they the referee, now they get the whistle. Now they get water, now they get flour. If they decide for mix akara, it could be akara. If they decide for make baguette, it could be baguette. If they make full of bread, it could be full of bread. If they make donut, it could be donut. So that they get for decide what they do. But I want to give them a pointers. When they see the government, they come and they bring award them. When they say the presidents don't win or ACC boss don't win. I don't do an extensive research whenever SLPP bring award. Una ask yourself some fundamental questions. Now, who done at that organization day? We know reputable organizations then where they give award, like the Nobel Peace Prize. Then they wake up and peace, nobody beats them. Then any organization where they have offer an award, una ask yourself some fundamental questions. Who done at the previous people where they don't get the award? All decided where they give we president and the ACC boss award. I know one day I read their organization and day before. When I investigate, I don't see or read any important person who don't win award na them places than the before. When I check, I understand their organization and they some of them are big past them. So they not even reach 10-year-old, so not reach 5-year-old. Any organization where they give a reputable award, some of them all say they old, like the Nobel Peace Prize. It don't they from there 18 something. So I just want to give with people and pointers. Una left for the take baton, una run with them. Una weigh the baton. Look Alpha Kanti map, it light pound on the clap back for him. Me the worries that way I get. And when my brother talk for say, he get resource, he not get resource. Mother be you, he don't take rope. He don't put himself in the gallows. He don't hang himself. But the only way he knows say he go win the election na through roadshow trick. Now he make he don't put Mohammed Kane. That man in Alaji. But a criminal pass anybody na the next Alaji or Molina Sierra Leone. That Mohammed Kane the way puts na the neck. That man they after where he don't misbehave na the financial investigation units na State House. Now they reward them. They make on the neck boss. That don't show say is a safe pair of hands for roguery and thievery. You see, my brother, IS, you see what you do now, Kwenadugu. Then can do and repeat and back, and salon people not go talk. Now make they tell the salon people them. This open call when the open call una for jail. Many lock we all na padeba. But it don't reach time now where we get for talk say Roadshow, we go call a Roadshow. Monkey go be called monkey, and me go tell everybody, say, Mother Bio, if all being equal, the people can get the right for choose who than the leader, not to for make them do what is Stalin talk. Say in some democracy them, not to the people them vote they change something. Now the people when they count the vote, now then they determine something. That is by their own show trick. Then do an Kabbalah. Then do an 110. So let people and wake up and see that reality there.
All right, I get for close now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. I mean, I've never, I don't ever stay long so for my program. I mean, and people are still hanging in, in and out, in and out. This is to tell you how important, this conversation is, especially when it comes to in the Anti-Corruption Commission. So I want to say thank you to the viewers them who stay up to this time for listening to me guests them. This is to show, say, me guests they really deliver on the issue, and most of the comments them agree to the topic today. It was like a unanimous agreement to what I put at the topic today. So I want to say thank you, Lawyer IS, as always, coming to my program, giving it to the people how it is. I appreciate you, and anytime I call you, ready for come. And thank you so much, Imran. This is the first economy program. And, you know, you really, you know, anyway, you make her laugh because again, talk see why so, and when you pull them, you make the layman able to understand exactly what you talk. So I really appreciate you coming first time na the program, and I hope say not to, you know, go be the last time. We will continue for the Cannabis program anytime I invite you. Thank you, IS. Thank you, Imran. And thank you to the wonderful viewers then for staying with us till this time. Till next week, keep telling it to Rachel on Women and Politics. Thank you.
Sugar sweet taste, yeah. It's honest, yeah. Sugar sweet taste.
All right, yes, sugar
and sweetest.
You cutest couple. They come up with a new television love show.
Your heartbeat show, full of fighting. Waiting.
You love me?
I miss you. I'm not here only on the man and the ground.
Gold digger prank.
Really?
Sorry about that.
Hey. But you just tell me saying Academy.
Yeah, I do that because, like, you know, a lot of salon girls, they collect that kind life, you know. So, like, that's why I tell you that. At least I know say if I tell you saying I'm in Canada, you know, you go be okay with that.
Love and heartbreak.
Babe, na phobia. Don't you end of your life, please. What a good guy they did.
Babe, I love him so much.
I know, I understand. Phobia. Be okay, yeah?
Love and sacrifice.
Friend finder.
Hook me up with a loved one.
Your childhood days.
And more on YouTube. So search for
Sugar and Sweetest.
And then
subscribe.
It's honest, yeah. Sugar and sweet